Hey guys, in this video we have made the starburst like this upper burst here in Photoshop. Hopefully not with a lot of hassle. So main thing was we just duplicated layers and we moved from the left to the right hand side, giving us this grid. So now we're going to begin drawing over top of this. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to clean up quickly and hold shift, select all these layers and put them into a folder just by clicking folder, double click, and I'm going to call it grid. I'm also going to put a padlock on this layer so that these don't move around. In fact, I'll unpadlock it and I will lower the opacity of those grouped items. So that's looking really good, just really faint, so we don't get too distracted. And then I'll put the padlock back on. So right, we have a really nice clean grid. With every drawing, we'll turn off the grid. We will take a screenshot if you like, and save that to a file, or you can go file, you'd go export, and you'd export it as a JPEG. So you want to have, I would want for merit and excellence, I'd be wanting you. It's very hard just to say I want you to do 5 of these each, because actually what does excellence look like for this task. I'd expect merit and excellence people to be striving to do as many as they can beyond 5 or beyond 6, and I'd expect you to be trying to explore some really interesting forms and shapes, not just a box, and to put in a lot of detail, the thickness of windowsills and such. So let's do one of those drawings as this example of what that would look like. I am just going to zoom in and look around. So holding spacebar while you click and move around actually just drags your page around. For some reason, my computer just can't do that at this time. Sometimes I wonder it's because I'm recording at the same time. But here you can kind of imagine we're in this very matrix looking world, and we can look up at these grids, and here we're looking down at these floor grids, and this is that horizon line. Our vanishing points we can't see. So right away, we're going to make a new layer. It's the plus icon, and we're going to name this drawing 1. This is our first drawing. It'll all happen on this one layer. We are going to use rulers, so make sure you've got your rulers on. So again, view rulers, make sure they're on, because we're going to use these guides to help find the vertical lines. So I think probably the easiest way is to create some kind of interesting floor plan. How we're going to do that is I'm actually going to use the pencil tool. By default, this will be a brush. Click on the bottom options in the corner there, make it a pencil, make it about 12 point in size. That's pretty good. And we'll make the color of it. I'll show you this way. We'll make the color of it very light grey. Right. Okay, so we've got that. Now, in this bottom space below the horizon line, you want to make some kind of floor plan, right? So you want to make this simple for yourself by following the red lines and following the red lines only as we begin this. So I'm going to do my first click on that intersection there, and I'm going to hold shift and go and find the next point. When you hold shift, it automatically makes that line nice and straight between point and point. So we're going to use the shift key a lot, and we're just going to move along, shift, hold shift, move along. We want all of these designs, by the way, to be on the page, so we don't want to be going off the page at any time. I might just carry on for a little bit there. Control Z is undo. In fact, I might just undo right back to here and go across, right across, right across. Ooh. And then we'll go in, follow that line. In fact, we'll go all the way. We'll go all the way back as far as we can go to here. And in. Oh, I don't know why that keeps coming up. It's very annoying. And I need to disable those sticky keys. Sorry if that keeps bleeping. I'm just going to answer my phone for a minute. So just if you could have a go at doing that with the pen tool, that'd be great. All right, cool. So hopefully by now you've kind of maybe made a bit of a floor plan just using those tools. If you feel like that line weight is too heavy, by the way, you could drop it down we could type in 11 points. So with a floor plan done, we've got that in. That is the ground floor. We now need vertical lines. Now you'll notice obviously this grid has no vertical lines, so let's use our rulers. Let's come and bring some rulers along the front features only. So I'm focusing on the corners you can see my cursor resting on rather than this corner. That is not going to be a wall we see, or it may not. It may be. It may not be. It may be. Let's put one there anyway, because I feel like if you were doing a bit of detail and you were doing windows, you will probably see through a window to that rear wall. So I'm just going to put one of these on every single one of the vertices. Every single corner has one. And then from there, I'm just going to go back to my paintbrush, my pen, sorry, and again, click once and hold shift, go up to a point on a red line and click again. Now here is where you're sort of creating the height of the building, and that might vary. So here is the point there. I actually want to take this from here across to here and end it there. I want to do a point here from here to here and end it there, and then down to here. And so there's one there and there's one there as well. So you can see what I mean. You wouldn't actually see those lines eventually unless in this front window, click, let's go up and match it to that height. And now that there, by the way, isn't correct. You can see how it kind of goes a bit off. So I'm just going to go Control Z. I'm actually just going to elongate that there. And so, even for achieved, I would say that you need to try and make these drawings as accurate as possible. So just undo and get that right. And you can see how that runs parallel to the red line. It's just because in that instance, it didn't actually hit the red line. And let's pump this line up here. What one does it come up to? It comes up to that one. And then it comes across to this one. And I'm not going to worry about the back detail because unless I had kind of low windows or windows on this side, you might not see them. So let's just talk about this face here. The only way I'd see this wall is if I decided to put in a really large window here. I'm going to drag another ruler along so I've got something to follow, and click there and click here. Ooh. And I'm going to go across to here and another ruler here to that red line there. So again, just because you've got these lines doesn't mean you know what you're doing. You really need to understand these red lines and the direction. They're only going in two directions, either to the left or the right. So here now is a big window and I've cut it out. I'm going to add a bit of thickness because you'd actually see the window, you'd see the underside of this. Now, in this instance, again, there's no red line to follow, but I understand that it would need to be parallel to that line or that line. I could do better than that. And there, and then I'm going to drop it down. And all the way to there. I've dropped it all the way to there because I'm almost, obviously I'm actually kind of past the horizon line, but I just feel like it's only going to be slightly seen. Let's have a look. There's a line. Okay, so you might see, you'd see a tiny bit of it. The lower that gets, the more you'd see of it. You can definitely see up here, so I'm going to finish that off. Again, there's no red line. I am just looking at the lines available and that looks good. So that's looking good. You would actually see now, you'd actually see this line here running back to this corner. Where does that corner start? Here. So it's roughly here to here, and then that corner would run here to here. And that's not right. That's definitely not right. So I probably needed to lift that corner from there to there. Okay. And so here we do actually see the ceiling now, and we actually see that very back wall, and we see this wall here on the left-hand side. So what lines could I delete in this view? We'll get the eraser tool, and same thing. I'm going to hold shift. I'm just going to click right there, hold shift there to there. I'm actually going to zoom in and do this and kind of just scroll around there and there. Definitely not going to see that. Just give that a little bit of a wipe. And definitely not going to see there and there and there. Sorry, my brush is actually too big for that space, so I'm just going to reduce it down, and again, just hold shift. These are just explorations, so don't get too picky about details like that. I'm also not going to see any longer this wall here or here. I just needed that initially to get that in, and I'm not going to see that there or there or there or there. Right, note to self, turn that off. Okay, so that's sort of what we're seeing. And we're now actually, I realize we're actually also not going to see that. I just sort of, again, I needed that initially to kind of put that line in. And, sorry, I can't be bothered doing it while I'm demonstrating. We do need to keep that line on the inside of the window frame. We don't need that line anymore. Okay, so that's kind of a good design. You we'll just need to pause and persevere with doing that and really following those red lines, either directly on top of them or parallel to them. And again, I can see some lines I haven't deleted that I still need to do. And then the question is, are you able actually to put in more architectural details and features? If you look back at your analysis page, that under Putakawa House that I have on the slideshow has a lot more details than that. For example, here, I could follow, with my pencil back on, I could follow that. That's not quite right. And I could try and do like an overhanging deck feature or whatever is relevant to your design idea. And I could add a few extra lines. And again, we need to add height. So without the guide, I'm just going to go straight up. And then I'm going to go from here across to here. And then I'm going to take those lines up there and then there. And there's a little detail I've just kind of added in. So it's like, how many details and how detailed can you make this? Could you then kind of do a little bit of decking out here? Now, this is all just vertical and horizontal. If you wanted angles, I'm going to go off of this grid now, and I'm just going to come across. I'm going to shoot across to here and come into here and then shoot back to this corner. So those two lines break the rules. They are definitely on angles. And again, I'm just going to add a little bit of height. All right. So that is one design done. That is just, it's not even, I wouldn't say that's a design. That's not a design at all. It's just a basic form. It just shows that I understand perspective and I know how to draw these. And like I said, I personally prefer drawing. I could have drawn that way faster than I could have done it in here, but we're not all there yet in our kind of journey. If you are not new to drawing, there's some of you who are actually quite all right at drawing, who should probably be focusing more on trying to achieve this by sketching by hand, even if you're using the grid paper as a place to start. So that's one idea. We're going to turn off the grid. We're going to remove these blue lines by going view and turn off, view and just clear guides. That will do it. That's our first drawing. And you can actually at this point either screenshot it. Screenshotting is not fast, by the way, because you've got to put it somewhere. So I just personally just go here, export as, and I don't want these all to go on a Google slide. We're going to do something else with these. I do want you to keep using Photoshop to try and lay them all out. It's good, and export. And we'll just call this. So you should have made a folder somewhere. And JPEG and save. And that is that first one done. So you want to try and do as many of those as possible and showing a lot more detail. I mean, that's a good idea there. I've even started including things like angles, which shows that I do I understand the premise of this. I do also understand how to break those rules a little bit. And if you're not doing them like that, you're doing them by hand, or maybe you're doing a mixture of them. That would be kind of cool as well, just to show that you can use other mediums and other tools to do this. Do not add any crazy colors or crazy boxes. Why did I do it in grey? I was actually going to do it in really, really, really light grey, so I didn't have to erase and then go back over top of it with black. But I think actually that just seems like extra work. So that's one of quite a few. And then I'd just turn that off. I'd make a new layer. I'd call this drawing 2. And I'd turn the grid back on and start again. Go back to view and actually just turn on show grid. No, we don't want to show grid. Ignore that. We actually just want to go view rulers. And as soon as you start putting another, there we go. There's our grid. View. I can't find it. Anyway, just drag one of those back down onto the horizon line and do another drawing. So give it a go, see how you go, and that's just a way we can create drawings in 2-point perspective reliably well.